Hello, welcome to Century Farmhouse. Welcome to the Century Farmhouse kitchen. And today I am going to be showing you how to make cute little ornaments, paper baubles that you can use to trim a tree, to trim a wreath, to put at a place setting at Christmas for Christmas dinner, or perhaps to top a package with a bow. They're beautiful little baubles and they're so easy to make. Let me show you how. Okay, here we go. I'm going to move these baubles out of the way a little bit. Okay, simple things you're going to need. Strips of paper. This is scrapbooking paper. It's a little bit heavier than wrapping paper. And the heavier paper does make a better bauble in that the paper doesn't get crushed very easily. So I have 6 strips, and each one of these is a 1/2 inch wide by 6.5 inches long. You can make them longer, slightly wider for a bigger bauble, and of course, even at 1/2 inch, slightly less long, and you'll get a little bit smaller bauble. All right, so you're also going to need 2 beads, and a smaller hole in the bead is better. The plastic pony beads with the large holes really don't work well for this because you need to be able to hold the bead on the wire that you're going to use. Now I have 24 gauge wire. This is about 5.5 inches long. And if you don't have 24 gauge wire, you need a wire that will bend fairly easily. But also will be able to stay straight. So whatever you can find to work for that wire, that's what you need. And then in addition, you need a way to poke holes into your paper, and so a darning needle works well for that. Or if you have a hole punch that will make a very tiny hole, that will work as well. Let me show you what I mean by that. A regular hole punch will punch a hole that is not quite 1/4 inch across. Okay, I'm talking about a tiny punch that will punch a hole that's probably about the same size as you'd get by using a large darning needle. If you don't have a hole punch that size, use the needle. Okay, so some of these strips I have already put holes in, but I want to show you how you can put the holes in very easily. Now, you do need a ruler also, and maybe perhaps a pencil. And the pencil I like to use is one that is a colored pencil, or one that does not have the little ridges on it, because it's easier to work with. If all you have is one with ridges, go for it. Okay, I'm going to measure these pieces of paper. They are 6.5 inches long. So at the halfway point, 3 1/4 inch, I'm going to put a dot right smack in the center of that piece of paper. I'm also going to need to have a hole at each end about 1/4 inch in from the end. And I have 2 of these, so I'm going to do these 2. The other 4 I have already marked. Now this one's darker. This paper is colored on both sides, so I'm really more making an indent than I am making a mark that I can see. Okay, I'm done with the pencil for the moment. Let me get my holes in here, and you can see how easy it is to just use the sharp darning needle, don't poke yourself, to get the holes into the paper. You just have to be careful not to poke yourself. Okay, so there we go, and there is a hole in each one of these and on the ends. And so every piece now has holes in the center and on each end. I'm going to put the needle and the ruler away. I will not need those anymore. All right, so now we're going to pick up our wire, and we need to put a loop on the end of our wire. I don't know if you can, how well you can see the loop on here, but we'll make one that you can see. I'm using the pencil for that. If you happen to have a tool, a little pliers-like tool that you can use for jewelry making to do that, that will work as well. I'm going to wrap the wire, leaving about 1 inch on this end. I'm going to wrap the wire around the pencil just enough to have enough of a tail that I can twist it with that bread tie twist to make a loop. And now I have, maybe you can see it better against the paper. Now I have a loop at the end of my wire. and I'm going to slide on the first bead. Now I want the bead to cover all of that twist that I put on there, but it cannot go through the end of the wire. We have to have that loop to hold the bead on there. Now I'm going to start selecting my papers, and the part of the paper that you want to have on the outside is going to go down on the wire. So I want the sparkly stripes on the outside, so they will go down. And then you just go ahead and put your papers on in any order you would like. Sometimes people like to do a pattern. I kind of like to do that. Let's see, I think I'm going to put sparkly. This one's going to be a little more sparkly than some of my other ones. All right, and this one, and a sparkly, and the last one. Okay, now I have all 6 pieces on here. The outside of the bauble down, right? Now what I'm going to do is look at the bottom. Which was the first one I put on here? This one. I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to be working with all of the pieces of paper on this side, putting the wire through the hole and holding it down. Now I look for the next one, which was this one, and I just keep adding these over the wire. Whichever one was the next one I put on, and you can see it'll be whichever one is on the bottom next. It's pretty easy to find. And you'll see once you get half of these on, the first 6 holes, you will be able to see very clearly which pieces come next, and it will go even faster, okay? So this one is next. Now see how nicely this fans out on here? This is all kind of fanned out. These now are going to be the next ones I put on. Continuing in a clockwise motion, I'll just continue to put each one of these strips, the little hole, the wire through the little hole at the end. In we go, 2 more. And we now have a bauble made, right? Isn't this beautiful? But we have to finish it off. So the next piece that goes on is the next bead. If I can figure out where my bead went. Oh, please. There it is. All right, put my bead on. Now, the next thing I have to do is do that twist again, and this is probably the trickiest part. I use my pencil again, or you can use your wire cutter, wire twister, and I'm going to do the same thing. I only need a little bit of that end of the wire to do the twist, that little dance. And then we put both ends into the bead. And we have a bauble all made very quickly. I'm going to add a little string to the top so that I have a hanging loop. I think I want something a little bigger. This is probably too big, but we'll go with it. All right, so I'm going to put this in the top. I'm just doing the luggage tag twist on the top. And I'll find my scissors. I'm going to twist a knot on the top to make a hanging loop. Now, of course, you could use an ornament hanger, a little metal hanger, if you would like. But if you want to attach this to a ribbon to put on a package, this is probably what you're going to want to do. So, there we go. Okay, welcome back. Here we are with the cute little bauble, and I hope you enjoyed watching how to make this. They're very easy. Have fun trying it on your own. Take care. Bye.